So, Mark, did you see the big fight is this weekend? Canelo, Crawford, statues everywhere. I don't know. They look like they're made by chocolate. And then Dana White out there on the Bellagio fountains. Did this look like it was so awkward?
Do you ever see those like Facebook videos where a guy like makes a whole thing out of chocolate, like Willy Wonka's suitcase that has all this stuff? I don't know, but it's amazing if you've ever seen that guy. Can we just stop making statues of people?
I don't know why the first thing I thought of was those statues look like they were made of chocolate. So I don't know what the hell's wrong with us. So this is supposed to be the year of deals, Mark, and deals have been incoming, many more to come in the next few months. But let's start here. Our small deals. MGM is trying to make their customers happy. Imagine sitting by the pool at MGM Grand and you want an ice cream. How much would you expect to pay for that? Well, here's the sign. It says $2. A lot of people on the internet thought the print shop messed up here, and it's supposed to be $12. But you can get like a Dole Whip, a drumstick, ice cream sandwich. This is fun. This is a nice little thing for customers, not to screw them at the pool.
I mean, this is a fun deal. I didn't even know that you could get ice cream at the pool. Like, it's the last thing I would consider. So I don't know how well it will resonate with people. It's a great deal. I mean, you can't even go to 7-Eleven or a gas station and get these ice creams for $2. They're usually like $3.50 in there. So it's a great deal. It's just, if this is really what they're leading with after we haven't seen any of the deals, everybody else is doing great deals, and you come out with this, it's a little bit like sad. I mean, we need something better.
I agree. We need more big moves and big sort of deals and sales, but this small stuff is good. And I think that it sort of adds up over time, where you're out by the pool and you see that. And even if you don't get ice cream or you don't want ice cream, you're like, hey, I could get a $2 ice cream. I could get a $2 Dole Whip right now. And that feels normal and good. And it sort of takes you away from the distraction of the $12 Snickers bars at the, at the shop inside and all of the other stuff. I don't know. I don't think this is some grand thing, but I hope that we see more of this. And I do think it'll add up over time.
So now the pool is going to be full of pee, fecal matter, and chocolate.
So Zoox finally launched in Las Vegas on Wednesday, September 10th. They've been doing free rides from Resorts World, and now they are launched, and the Strip is kind of their playground. It's still free for now. They're waiting for regulatory approval, and they're going to start charging. So if you download the app and you look inside, you can see a map that shows the Strip and parts of the city that you can use Zoox in. But according to everything I can figure out, you can still only use it from 5 places as of now: Resorts World, Area 15, Topgolf, Luxor, and New York, New York. They're a little bit more vague in their press release, but basically download the app. You can download it now. I already did that. Catch a Zoox, get around the city, and do it for free for a limited time.
Topgolf, New York, and Luxor are all kind of right there. So that's not really all that useful between the three. But if you're going up to Resorts World, I think that's a great option. Area 15 is another really good option. I just wish they would spread out the rest of the Strip a little bit, maybe add a thing here or there. But it's interesting how Resorts World seems to always be kind of like the first spot. And maybe it's just because they have a little bit more space. They're not crammed in on the Strip, so it's easier to set up access points and everything. But, the Loop and now this, they're just kind of like on the forefront of these things.
Yeah, Resorts World has the official partnership, so I'm guessing they're getting prioritized treatment there. And the goal is they're going to roll this out to this entire area. So this will be a rideshare taxi service as soon as they get it up and running. So we will see all of the Strip casinos. I think they're trying to figure out spaces, and it seems like these 5 places have good space for them to operate. For people who don't know, these are fully autonomous. There's no driver. There's no steering wheel in there. It's just 2 bench seats that face each other. And this is really the future. This is the first fully autonomous sort of service in Vegas, and it is finally here. So I don't know. It's kind of exciting. We've been talking about them for years. Finally, I've been seeing them around town for years as they trained their vehicles, and then Resorts World opened up their test, and now here we are. I'm kind of excited for it.
It's free, so why wouldn't you give it a go unless you're just kind of nervous about the tech and all of that, which I can understand. I do think it might be a little bit awkward at times when you're sitting there staring at person, facing them that you don't know. But maybe this is like the next season of How I Met Your Mother. It happens in a Zoox.
Yeah, I think you can ride by yourself, but I think that they'll have a share option as well, and good conversations. People don't like that these days. They don't want to share. They don't want to talk. They just want to look at their phone.
As people sit there watching us on their phone, hopefully.
So welcome to Fabulous. We talked about it on the last show, the big ad campaign from the LVCVA, and they had their meeting this week, kind of talking over how the campaign went, what's going on in the future. And LV Sports Biz was there. And I wanted to kind of hone in on this one slide where they talk about their value messaging going forward. We don't have a lot of details of this, but there's supposed to be a fabulous deals website. I know the LVCBA had a deals website at some point. I couldn't find it right before the show, so I don't know if this is set up or this will be a new thing that they come out with. And then they say the other way that they're going to address your concerns about value, long form articles, so they're going to buy sponsored articles, social hack videos, meaning influencers are going to come in here and show you how to hack Las Vegas to get deals, social deal videos where they're going to talk about deals, and then digital banners. So that's what they're going to do. They're going to flood your social feeds with influencers telling you how to hack Las Vegas.
Don't we already have that? Isn't there already like a bajillion videos of that? Like,
but they're going to pay them millions of dollars. They're going to pay them millions of dollars for this. So it's a big deal.
It's already out there for free. Just like retweet something or, share it again. I don't know. This just seems kind of crazy. You're going to pay to have people recreate stuff that's already out there, and there's a lot of it. It's happened. There's the best drink packages, best this, best that of Vegas, best dining, best breakfast spot, best deals. There's so many of these videos. I don't know that just doing more of them is going to help a ton, but it's worth a try, I guess.
Kind of reminds you that every sort of angle of this has been taken, especially in a city like Vegas where you have such a robust influencer scene. And with some of their past campaigns, they've gone outside Las Vegas and hired influencers that sort of cross over and with millions of followers and brought them here to do that content. So I think the answer is they're going to duplicate the content that exists with different influencers and bigger audiences to reach different people.
John Mahaffey's going to be so pissed.
Well, I bet he is pissed about the Fair Bet Act, or Dina Titus shared.
Well done.
Unfortunately, sometimes they just come to us. Unfortunately, the GOP-controlled Rules Committee did not accept the Fair Bet Act as an amendment to the NDAA. That's what she tweeted. This is in regards to the 100% gambling loss deduction, which is going to be 90% as of next year. And Kalshi, which is one of the prediction markets, has this at like 16% as of this morning, whether or not this will get repealed before next year. So it doesn't look good for gamblers. A lot of sports gamblers, a lot of low margin gamblers going to be affected by this. The vast majority of people not going to be affected by this, though.
Yeah, I think the average person going to Vegas, it's not going to be any different really for your tax time. You're not doing an itemized deduction type of setup. So this is focused on a smaller segment of people, but it's getting national play and it's going out there and it's freaking out all types of gamblers. So, we'll have to see how it all comes out, and we won't really feel that pain or whatever until 2027, I believe, like when you're filing your taxes for 2026. I think if there's going to be a big push at any point, that's when it will happen, when it's fresh again and people are having to deal with it, similar to when we saw like the $600 for PayPal keeps getting pushed back and all these stuff, and nobody really knows what's going on because it was such a mess. So I think it'll kind of play that way.
It seems like the gambling community is finally sort of settling in that this might actually go into effect. I think they had a lot of hopes based on common sense that this would get repealed, but the reason it was put there was to raise more tax revenue. So there are lawmakers who wanted this in order to raise tax revenue, even though it doesn't make any sense why you wouldn't be able to write off your losses from anybody who kind of understands the industry. But this is probably bad. I saw an analyst saying that this could have an effect on a lot of the gaming stocks, specifically mentioning DraftKings, because a lot of the sports bettors will run into this. Will the big gamblers gamble less, I guess, is the big question.
I mean, I don't believe that DraftKings is making their hay off of huge gamblers. I think it's more like the Joe Schmo that's betting $100 a game on the weekend or $50 or whatever it is, betting on their favorite team to win the Super Bowl. That would be my guess where they're making most of their money. So I don't think it will affect those people. Maybe just all the news and everything will scare some away. So if I was going to do anything, I'd kind of try to message, hey, for the average person, this isn't going to change things much for you.
Yeah, a lot to come as this gets closer, but I think a lot of the wind is out of the sails, and this is probably going to happen. So get ready for it. As a reminder, we have our Patreon community. $5 a month gets you access to our weekly after show. A lot of fun behind the channel. Helps to support the work that we do here on this channel. Patreon.com/MTM Vegas for all the information. And thanks to everybody who supports us over there. So going forward, we're going to start answering some of your questions on the show. We'd love for you guys to post your questions down in the comments. Just put QA and then the question so I can easily find it later and we will answer them on future shows. So moving over to Brewdog, apparently some refresh is happening. Leslie in Vegas, she's working there, and she says that they're redoing the menu. I guess they had some sort of all hands meeting. We know the parent company isn't doing very well. It hasn't been as busy as I think a lot of people would have hoped. It's a huge space, but she says a lot of things going on with the food, including that it's going to be very beer inspired, which I think makes a lot of sense. I don't know why it wasn't as beer inspired before. We ate a few things there. It was pretty good.
Yeah, I had no complaints about the service, the food, the beer. Everything was pretty good. I think the space is just way too big, and they don't have anything to fill it. And we've talked about how the entrance is weird, and you have that barrier to entry. Getting people to go up there or even knowing that it's there is a big problem. So this definitely screams struggle to me that you're trying to rehab the menu. I don't know that it's going to help a ton. I don't think anybody's going to Brewdog because they think it's going to be a great dining experience. They're going there to watch some sports, drink some beer, play some games, sit on the roof, all that stuff. So I don't know. I think just getting the word out there a bit more would be helpful, or having some type of events up there, bringing in some live music if you could, all these types of things that will draw people in. We'll see if it works.
What kind of beer inspired food could we do? Beer battered, whatever, and then you can throw some beer in the cheese, right, and dunk in the liquid cheese. I don't know what else we can do.
Beer can chicken.
Looking forward to that. It's a great location, though. A really cool bar. People should check it out. The elevator at the bottom, I don't know, it doesn't feel very welcoming, but get up there and you'll love it. And the rooftop is really cool. Another cool space is Clique over at Cosmo, and that recently reopened just a couple weeks ago. This is basically the center bar at Cosmo. That's what I would call it, in the middle of the casino. And it caught on fire, it looks like. Man, this is a different design language that we see often these days in Vegas, and it looks sexy AF.
Yeah, it definitely feels a little bit more of a throwback and something a little bit different. And I love when they take the pictures and it feels all homey and kind of tucked away in a corner somewhere and very private. And then they zoom out and you see the whole casino floor. A totally different vibe than when you're in it. So I think it'll be pretty immersive when you're sitting in it, and it'll feel all encompassing, even if it is a bit out there, a bit open, but it looks amazing.
It's hard to say, is this the center bar for Cosmo? I mean, the chandelier bar, I guess, really is the center bar for Cosmo, but this is a good space, and I think they knocked it out of the park with this redo, and it is open now, so go ahead and check that out. Over to Mirage, we have a couple updates. James sent us these pictures of Mirage showing the circular area. People remember the atrium. Have we all forgotten the atrium by now? Oh my God. I can't believe Hard Rock. Can we start that over again? Why did you take out the atrium, Hard Rock? What's wrong with you? But we're starting to see what's going to replace it. It is a circular area, but we'll have a flat roof according to the models and stuff. I believe we'll have projections on the inside of there. There will be some sort of show. That is my guess based on everything. They have not announced that, but we will not be seeing the glass. So the shape will retain, but not the glass, not the atrium.
We still have Laughlin, Sean, or the nearest Home Depot Garden Center.
Yes, one or the other, completely interchangeable there. And speaking of glass, though, they started putting glass on the side of the guitar tower as well to kind of do some testing. We've seen glass up on the side of that parking garage for, I don't know, 3 or 4 years now, since before the Mirage closed. But now we are starting to see some of it on the tower. I doubt that this is like permanent installation. Doesn't seem like, it seems like it's too early for them to put all the glass on. Maybe this is just sort of testing it for the sun. But it gives you a look. It's starting to look like a guitar.
Yeah, it looks really nice, and I kind of like the glass. I like the color. I think it will be beautiful when it's all in there. But this reminds me, was it Fountain Blue where they were like, oh, the glass is shattering and stuff when they were testing things? Hope we don't get those type of influencer videos happening soon.
Yeah, I forget that. Didn't a piece of glass fall or out of something happen? Yeah, that was Fountain Blue, I think. People can remind us down in the comments what happened, but glass, it's a serious business because it not only is it, pretty and all of that, but the sun here is intense and you need the right treatments or it'll start to discolor over time. All you have to do is go look at those pieces of glass that have been sitting on that garage for a few years and you'll see that they all sort of look a little different. So one last Mirage related thing, the auction for Mirage ends on September 20th. So if you're looking to get any of the artwork for Mirage, you better get your bids in now. And I thought we would check in to see where the bidding is. And it's not good for people like you and me, Mark. I think it's a little rich for my blood. The Choluli blown glass sculpture is at $38,000 now. The bronze mermaid statues, $30,000 and $38,000. A lot of the dolphin statues are in the thousands of dollars. Even the green ones are over $3,000. And then they're selling pieces of the facade of the Mirage, and those are going anywhere from $500 to $800 as of now. I expect most of these bids to maybe even double by the end, because a lot of people come in at the end. So that's a lot of money for a piece of fake rock from the volcano.
Yeah, I think that's kind of crazy, but this is what we see when beloved properties close down. I do wonder, like, what do you think they're making off of all this, selling these pieces when it's all said and done? Like, how many millions of dollars did they rack up? It probably is a small pittance compared to what they're spending, but it would just be interesting to see those figures.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it's adding up with some of the bigger stuff. And there's a ton of artwork and other stuff that's not thousands of dollars. If you want a piece of the Mirage, you can get it. It's just funny because we should have just taken like a hammer and a chisel on the last day and just knocked off a chunk of the rock somewhere, and then you wouldn't have had to pay for this. I just kidding. But on one hand, I see the novelty of it, and I couldn't pay $800, $1,000 for a piece of the volcano. But honestly, Mark, I would have, at this price, it's too much. But those green dolphins, those are cool. I would have loved to have those in my backyard, but they're probably going to go 5-6 grand, which is just too much.
Yeah, I think those would be pretty epic, especially if you put them out around like a pool area or garden area that you have at your house. I can see why people are wanting those. And a lot of the sculptures are really pretty and unique, and something when somebody comes over your house, you're like, oh, that's from the Mirage. I mean, that's so cool.
All right, I'm up in my budget. Just got to get the wife on board. So Caesars joined the S&P 500 in 2021. A lot of people probably thought maybe they were on before or not, but the idea was that gaming was booming in the United States, and that Caesars was going to be one of the major players in iGaming and that sort of space, online sports betting. And so S&P added Caesars in 2021. Their stock had a huge rally, and then of course it came back down to earth. Their valuation's just over $5 billion now, which isn't even close to big enough to be on the S&P 500. So all this to say, Caesars, you're no longer on the S&P 500, now replaced by Robinhood.
What a terrible company to be replaced by.
I mean, it hurts a little bit. So this actually could have an effect on them, because a lot of portfolios and investment managers, they balance their portfolios with S&P 500 stocks. And so now it's no longer there. This could affect liquidity and other things, but it just feels like Caesars was never a good enough company with all their debt to, I think you have to have a $22 billion valuation in order to be on the S&P 500 currently. And they're at like a quarter of that. So they never really were a good fit for this index.
No, it's crazy when you think about that, that they were ever put there, because if they ever even came close to that, it'd be at the very peak height of their valuation, and there's no way that they're going to stay up there. And it's just been a struggle the last several years for them to make money, and the debt is just overwhelming. So this doesn't surprise me. I'm sure it will hurt the stock a little bit more, in the short term. Hopefully they can rebound and figure some things out in the long term.
And the other big company in town is MGM, of course. And news is starting to fly that layoffs are happening in the corporate structure of MGM, specifically starting with HR. And Jyoti Chopra, the chief people officer, and other HR executives. But then Johnny Katz, he couldn't get it out scooped by Vital Vegas. He came in and said September 24th, we may be seeing even more MGM layoffs in the executive space. So this could be the first shoes falling from the whole 2025 debacle.
You want to make Vegas fabulous again and make that boxing scene make sense in the ad? Let's have a Vital Vegas and Johnny Katz boxing match. That would be amazing.
It's so funny, that they go at each other, and, Katz had to, because first he tweeted this very vague thing that said some casino on the strip is going to restructure. And then Las Vegas locally came out with the layoffs, actually came out with the news. Then Vital Vegas confirmed some of the names for the news. And then Johnny Katz had to come and say September 24th. They're all working together to give us information. I don't have those inside sources, so it works out well. I do trust if he says September 24th. He's done us wrong before, Katz, so I don't know, but I'm going to trust him.
Don't never forget Harry Styles, man. Never forget.
We love Johnny Katz. We love Vital Vegas. I don't love layoffs, but this isn't a surprise, and we'll see more of this if things don't turn around. We talked in the last show, we admitted out loud that people are very concerned here about the way things are going forward and how the city sort of saves itself. I think maybe people are a little overreacting to it, but I'd rather have them react to it. Some people would say they're underreacting to it with the ad campaign, but I'd rather have them maneuvering to fix this than not. And we're going to see layoffs. It's just going to be a tough time here.
Yeah, and the VP suite is usually one of the first places to go. It's high overhead. And then you're hoping that the head of HR for each property can take on that load. And I feel bad for the people laid off. I also feel bad for the HR people left behind because they're probably going to be doing a heavier workload, but they'd probably prefer to keep their job. So hopefully it's not too bad come the end of the month, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, I follow some recruiters and stuff like that. I mean, HR and AI, that's like one area where AI is really already taking over in corporate environments. So I wonder how much that has to do with this, with their wanting less people and not having an HR manager on property is sort of insane. So we will see how this goes. The reshaping of Las Vegas. Is it fabulous? Is it not? Is it cheap? $2 ice creams at MGM. Is that enough to make you forget about everything else? Caesars getting delisted from the S&P 500. Is that a big move for them, or is that just where they always should have been? Clique. Everything else we talked about today, leave a comment. Zoox, are you going to run over to do that? I think I'm going to ride one this week, so I'll be able to talk about that on a future show as well. Leave a comment. We do 2 shows a week, Tuesdays and Fridays, and we'll be back in a couple days with another show. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you next time.
Placed by Robin Hood, man. Watch Dumb Money if you haven't. Read the book. Great stuff. That's just bad. Have a good weekend, everybody.